Sometimes you get really excited to do something, but you dread starting it. It just seems difficult. And I've been wanting to do this and needing to do this for a while, but I haven't wanted to start it because I haven't wanted to say goodbye. I first met Kris on a Zoom call. I was approached to write a book, and someone gave me advice to find a co-author. And so I said, sure, I should absolutely find someone. And I interviewed some people, but I knew of Kris. I didn't know her, but I knew of her from the AWS Kubernetes SIG, because I knew she was there and she was working on COPS and doing a lot of advice and talking to people about AWS. And I was strictly working on-prem. And this book was about cloud. And so I figured I needed to get someone that was a little more familiar with how cloud environments actually worked in the real world. And someone introduced us and we jumped on a call, and we just clicked right away. It was just immediately, we both got so excited about the project, and we both knew that each other helped the other one out. We filled in gaps for what content we wanted to put in the book, and we started. We're just like, we were doing this, let's go. And we got our first draft back, and we threw out almost all of it. I think we kept one chapter. And at that point, I really could tell that her motivation was kind of was going away, which was worrisome because we just threw away half the book and we had to finish it. But we kept writing, and I am the type of person who looks at the goal and steadily marks out small milestones. And Kris was not that type of person. Kris would do nothing for a month and do everything in a day. And those spurts and those bursts of energy were something I didn't realize were really, really a lot like her. I remember we got our final draft back and it needed edits. It had over 1,000 edits to do. And we needed to do it in a week. All right, let's divvy up the book and go through it. And Kris disappeared. And she wasn't reachable. She stopped responding to texts, wasn't email. I had to do it. We had to get this done. And I found out she enjoyed the mountains. I couldn't record this video in my office. I had to be somewhere where I knew she'd love it. But she was gone, and I made the edits, and she got back to me, and I was mad. I was very upset. I was just like, you abandoned this last piece of work. And that was the first time I was mad. I yelled at her on the phone, and we didn't talk until a couple months later. I saw her at KubeCon. It was the first time we actually met in person. And we were walking down the hall, and immediately I saw her walk past, and like, Kris, it's Justin. And she gave me a top 5 hug in my life. Her hug and embrace was just so real in person, and I honestly missed that so much. And we still didn't get to work together. We didn't live close to each other. We only saw each other at conferences. I like to buy little gifts for friends, people that are meaningful in my life, and I didn't know what to get her, but I went to a little outdoor shop, and I was like, I just need something. I want to give something to give to her. And I found these socks, and all it was like a little picture of a forest, and it just said, I fucking love it out here. And I was like, those are Kris. Those are Kris. I'm getting those socks. I didn't give her the socks in person. We didn't see each other after that, but I mailed them to her. She texted me and said she loves them, but they're made of cotton, and she can't wear them when she goes out mountaineering because they will literally give her frostbite. And that was That was so her, because practicality of it all, right? Like it is a gesture that she loves and she cherishes, and she can't use it, and that was okay. At KubeCon, we got to sign the book. The CNCF sponsored, it was 200 copies, and we got to give them out to people that received scholarships to come. And we just sat in a room with a pile of books, and people lined up, and we just signed them. And to be different, she grabbed 6 or 7 Sharpies, just signed her name in swirls, and it was wonderful seeing those sides of her. Seeing the playfulness and the creativity just come out in the little ways. And while a lot of the book I wrote, and she acknowledged that in many conference talks, that I wrote the words, but the main idea in the book, the infrastructure as software idea, was hers. She was the one that put that idea in there, and she had these ideas that just inspired other people, that then she could inspire you to go see it through and to make it happen. At another conference, we sat down for breakfast on the last day, and she was going on and on about this idea about how to run Kubernetes with Kubernetes, and how to run more infrastructure with Kubernetes. And I kept telling her that was kind of crazy, because it's like I saw other companies try this and fail and do these things, and how is that different than other projects she's done in the past, like COPS? And she's like, no, this is different. This is how we abstract it away. This is how we automate it a little more and manage it at scale. And that project ended up becoming Kubicorn, which was a way to bootstrap these clusters. And Kubicorn eventually became Cluster API. And that idea has extended far beyond that with things like Crossplane and even things like GitOps. These were all things that were kind of in the area of Kubernetes. And I heard them from her first. I heard them from her ideas first of what if it was this way? What if we could work on it this way? So many of her ideas, I would just say, I don't get it. She'd explain something that I think was mostly formed in her head, but she didn't know the words or the way to describe it to other people, to people that didn't have the same idea. So she'd have to go build it. She'd say, this is the thing. This is the thing that's next. But you couldn't understand it until you saw it in action, or at least part of it, or until you got the spark of, oh, that's it. That's what we needed to do. She had to build it first, and she was so amazing at being able to take that bottled up energy and create something with it quickly that could inspire other people. And I think she loved mountaineering and coming up to these places because you are so alone. She always seemed to be running mostly from herself. But she had to be alone with herself. Because when she wasn't up here, she was building communities constantly. Hackaderm, her foundations, over and over again, she was looking for ways to help people feel like they belonged, making it so they could belong, helping them find their people. And then she had to retreat. She had to step back and find herself. She had to be alone, so that she knew who she was, to help other people find who they were. I loved her passion to do that, knowing when she needed to be alone, knowing when she wanted to be around people. Her inspiration just to do what it was that was on her heart and her mind. She wasn't her work. She wasn't the things she created, the Git commits. She put her soul in the people she inspired. She would give you a part of her to inspire you. And that's, as guarded as she was sometimes, she could open up like no one else I knew. Even if we didn't get to see each other very often, I still miss her. I miss the hugs. I miss saying I don't get it. She helped a lot of people find themselves. She helped a lot of people belong. She led a lot of people to finding new careers. But now it's your job. It's all of our jobs. We take the piece of Kris that she gave to us. And we inspire more people. We help them. We carry on some ideas, but we come up with new ideas and throw away the old ones. And Kris, wherever you are, I hope you found yourself. I hope you found peace. I hope you keep inspiring people years from now.